Hey everybody, it's Miss A and I'm here with a recap video on our task that we worked on Friday, which was factors. We have to, in this unit, and this is OA 2.4, that's the standard, we do have to determine factors, we have to determine multiples, we have to determine whether a factor is part of a multiple or a multiple has that as a factor. We also have to do prime and composite and patterns. So let's start off with, first of all, what the children learned is they learned the vocabulary. Factors are related to multiplication. If you see something that says, what are the factors? A child should be able to take that information and understand that we are doing multiplication. And this is basically setting the steps towards the rest of the school year. It will be fully multiplication, division, and fractions. The fractions, there is a little bit of adding in there. We don't multiply fractions in 5th grade, but the majority of it is multiplication and division the rest of the year. We do have 3 units on fractions though. So when you see the word factors or multiples, you should know that that means multiplication. That's what we're working with. And the children need to understand the relationship between factors and multiples. So let's say we have 3 times 4 equals 12. The 3 and the 4 are your factors. They're the numbers that you multiply together. And the 12 is your multiple. It's your answer. So if you're giving a multiple, you're deciding what 2 numbers can multiply together to equal that. So if you're given a multiple, which is what the children were given during the lesson on Friday, for example, 24. The task is they have to figure out what numbers can be multiplied together to equal 24. So nothing is greater than 24. You are not multiplying 24 times anything. So it's what factors do we multiply together that always, and they all have to equal 24. That's the given. If you are given and you are told to find multiples, so you're basically what that is saying is you were given a multiple. It's telling you the multiples of 3. That means you're figuring out your 3's tables. So 3, 6, because that's 3 times 1. That's 3 times 2. 9, 3 times 3, and so on. That's how that works. So this is what we worked on Friday, and I will show you the couple of strategies. One of the strategies, honestly, is pulling out a multiplication grid. I do not believe I have access to one here. So right now, and the other one is, I could pull it up on my phone, but I'm using my phone. So a multiplication grid, the children have them on the back of their STEM Fair notebooks. If they have composition notebooks, they are always in the very back end of a composition notebook. Those are really good to help you during this task with the work, but honestly, the children need to memorize their multiplication tables. It will help them move much quicker. So we have our multiplication chart. Multiplication multiplication chart. Obviously, they need to know their facts. And we also have graph paper, which is what I will show you is how we really focus on it. And it did help the children figure it out, but it does take time. This is going to be the quickest way to functionally work through factors, which is a big component of this unit. All right, so let me go to a new page here, and let's give you an idea of what I'm looking for. So basically, the children had to determine factors of a given multiple. So if we gave them the number 6, the children had to determine what multiplication tables you would have that would equal 6. And I typically write it like this, and I write them in order so that way I don't forget anything. And obviously 1 times itself is always the first one because anything times 1 is itself. So those are factors, 1 and 6. This is an even number. So 2 times something should be 6, and that's 2 times 3. Now, the good thing about factors is that when you are multiplied and it's the 2 numbers following each other or they are the same number, you don't need to look any further. There aren't any more factors of that number because this 3 times 2 is the exact same as 2 times 3, and I don't need to list it twice. So my factors for the number 6, and if you write them going down, if you write them in order, going around and then up, they'll be in numerical order. 1, and then 2, and then going across, that's 3, and then 6. So my factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, and 6. The students will have to be able to do this. This is just knowing the multiplication tables. If you were to have a multiplication chart, you basically would look on the chart and find all the 6s, and then you would write down all the facts, and then you would find the facts that are repeating, which would be 3 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 6 and 1. You only need these 4. So the same thing, it would just have a chart for you. My advice, if a child is not retaining their multiplication tables or needs to practice, basically what they should do is write out their multiplication tables. So if you're dealing with, keeping a list, maybe like a factors list, so that way they can keep referencing it, so they don't keep, having to do the same number that they've already done. For example, if we do the number 12 has quite a few factors for a small number. Obviously, 1 and 12, it's even, 2 times 6, and we also have 3 times 4. Keeping a running list of factors at this point might be helpful for the kids so that they're not redoing this work 100 times. But definitely memorizing the multiplication table is the best way to go. So let's do the number, I'm going to do a smaller number. Let's do the number 9. I'm going to show you how the children used it on graph paper. And this actually worked out really well for a lot of kids. So how we do is when you're figuring out factors, it has to basically create a rectangle, and you'll see what I mean after this. So we start off with 1 because we know that 1 is always a factor, so we do 1 box. And then I have to label until I get to my multiple, which is 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I trace around the boxes that have numbers in them, and if it creates a rectangle, it is a factor. So it does create a rectangle, and then I know this one's 1, so then I count across the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 9, so 1 times 9, and they're both factors of 1. That's how this works. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to try 2. So this is 2, and I'm going to label 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to draw around all of my numbered boxes. And as you can see, this does not make a rectangle, so 2 is not a factor of 9. Now I'm going to try 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Draw a box around all of my numbered. It does create a rectangle. So it is a factor, and 1, 2, 3, that's 3. So 3 times 3 is a factor. These are repeating numbers, 3 and 3, so I know I don't need to look any further. So my factors of the number 9 are 1 times 9, 3 times 3, and remember, if I write them going down, 1 and 3, going around, I only need to write 3 once, and then going up, I can get them in order, 1, 3, and 9. So this is how this applies using graph paper. It was very helpful for the children to visually see it, but the expectation is that they are able to do it like this without the graph paper. A lot of times what happens is they may ask for all the factors listed, and for example 24 has a lot of factors. So we have 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6, and then 5 I know because it doesn't end in 5, and I'm back at 6, so that's repeating, so I could stop there. What happens is the children will forget one of these, like 2 and 12 or 3 and 8, and they may ask for all the factors. So knowing your multiplication tables, it does help you when you're doing this task. So this was the expectation. It was to determine factors of a multiple. All right, I hope this video helps everybody. This is a recap of what we did on Friday. Thanks for watching.